After our enslavement, after we were freed, we became the burden beasts of the United States of America. The most heavy work and the most daring uh, uh, reason thing that we that had to be done, we was put in harm's way. I was talking to a man one time, and he was telling me about something that was happening, and I just couldn't believe this in Illinois. Well, they had these men, it was black men, so he said, this is a white man telling me these things here, and I don't know whether it was true or not. He said they had to build uh, a road, but they had to take and blow up a side of a mountain with dynamites. And doing so, they had to put the charge in there, and then they had to set the thing out and blow the thing up. But he said, as they blow this thing up, the work and create these conditions, in the condition, this was really hazardous work. It was the black people they had done this, and they just cared about. But when the dynamites go off, and they blow the rocks so high up in the air, but as they came back down, it was hitting the people in the head, some of them in the head that was not lucky, and they was dying from these injuries or getting brutal injuries. And I couldn't understand why would they do such. But these was in the early days, but they always put us in harm's way. What I'm trying to say is, by us not being rehabilitated after we came out of slavery, and they never did consider us. They came and they used all of these sensitive marriages with no heart. We never was rehabilitated. So what happened was through this process, they created pitfalls and snare traps for us. Even we didn't know they were trying this. They began to bring drugs, cocaine in here, and flood our nation with cocaine. And what they did was these became pitfalls and snare traps to us. But God had looked at this through time and saw what was happening in America when he spoke concerning my birth in Isaiah chapter 6. He said in Isaiah chapter 6 to identify me was, this was after I had been to the cross and was crucified and had came back with Jesus. I was being the verse 4, it picks up at verse 4, Isaiah chapter 6, verse 4. And the post of the door moved at the voice of him that cried, and the house was filled with smoke. Then said I, woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. That's what happened to me in 1995, began in 1995, as I had transgressed against God, and he sent a man after me after the invasion of Iraq, who was Job, the first time, by President George H.W. Bush. Little did I know, this was the prophecy of Job 1. Job 1 was President H.W. Bush. So it was after that invasion, God called me, and when the man came and told me this, he was a minister, I said, when I get ready for God, you'll be the first one to know. But during this, and God began to tear my hedges around me, and I lost my job through a career in the industry. And through a sinner's prayer, I'm not going into detail, I was caught up between the earth and the sun one night. In a vision, I saw God sitting in the center of the sun. And he told me my tribulations was upon me, that he will remember me. But at that point, I was a man having unclean lips and dwelling among a people who had unclean lips. And what the problem was, I was addicted to cocaine. I dwell among people who was addicted to cocaine because this was something new to me. But I saw that the cocaine was not to, it didn't have a substance of life. It was there used to exterminate our people through secrecy, to forever separate us from God. This is where we're going with that. After seeing so much, they decided that I needed to be taken out. They was planning on sending me to the penitentiary after I'd seen so much. And if they sent me there, they kept me there forever, and I was around 50 years old. They gave me 50 more years as the charge they was alleged and trying to bring upon me. I didn't. I knew that I'd worked all my life and to be robbed out the remainder of my life in a condition like this. Life wasn't worth living anymore. So after asking God to take my life, he called me up between the earth and the sun, and he talked to me. He said, I sent a man after you, but you didn't hear him. But now your tribulation is upon you. But during my return, he told me to write his gospel. And as I returned, this is what brought me this far. But little did I know that this was a part of Bible prophecy connecting me on to Jesus Christ and John the Baptist. Now, the part is where I will go to next. And here is the invasion of Iraq, showing you how the campaign began and spoken of in Daniel chapter 7. But I had to get these two recordings out of the way to show you something that people do not consider. This is how, the black horse came to be in Revelation chapter 6. And once you just take this invasion of Iraq became the red horse, which was President George W. Bush. Job 2 and Bible prophecy. Saddam Hussein was an innocent man. He was guilty of no crime against the United States of America. After God sent me back down to write his gospel, and I went through many tribulations here as they tried to take my life, which proved when they firebombed my house. Well, what happened was, I wrote and told them that Saddam Hussein was Job and prophet. They tried to make him take on a law called democracy. And by him not taking on law democracy, when they slayed him, they told him go straight to hell. So this tells us we as a people know that this was a hate crime. This is why God put the balance in my hand over me on this black horse, because I was going to be a man that tells the truth. This is what some of the ministers doesn't do to the people. They don't reveal the truth, but he letting you know that I'm going to speak the truth and speak my mind. I'm not going to take sides. They was trying to cause the people to transgress the law of Moses. What brought them to the Middle East is the need of the peoples here in the United States of America. While the Antichrist is carrying out his hate crime against God's peoples, he pacified the people by taking the crude oil and giving us part of the spoil to keep us afloat. This is the way he done these things here. This is the truth. This is the reason God given us these things here. Because when I go back and show you these things here, start and show you the campaign, then you know that he was talking about the United States of America. There is no secret here. He said, make it plain. Write it on the table where they could, when they read it, they will run. When they read it, spoken of in Habakkuk chapter 2.